Okay, hello, my name is Lucas Dima. Today, in this amazing workshop that we created with Barbara and Sorora e.V., and also the GFSB organization, Jugend und Familienstiftung des Landes Berlin. It is a workshop about game design for young people, and it's also specialized in social issues. So, kind of gaming for improving the social things that are happening in Berlin and in Germany. And today we have a very special guest from Argentina. She is Mer Grazzini. She specializes in game development and game design. And she's also a journalist. And she made a lot of amazing games that are not like normal games. They have kind of a twist. So hopefully she will tell us about this. Yeah. So welcome everyone. I'm here with you.
Willkommen alles. Ich bin Mer und ich werde nicht das Talk in Deutsch machen, dann mein Deutsch ist schlecht. But welcome. This is my talk. All mechanics convey meaning. Like Lucas said, I make weird games. He said it more in a more fancy way, but it's basically weird games. This is me. My actual name is Mercedes, like the car. I'm a game designer. I'm 2D artist, animator, teacher, etc. I studied a bunch of things in my life. I did an art degree, a teacher degree. I studied animation, music, a little bit of linguistics. I love languages. German is the 10th language I am trying to learn. I don't know. I have a podcast. I have a band. I will be making music in Spain next week. Willkommen, welcome, hola. I actually stole the name of the talk from an article by my programmer, who is David Marjan, who is an excellent programmer and game writer, which is the same. Toda mecánica transmite sentido. It's in Spanish. It's also in English. And it's part of the Matajuegos blog, which Matajuegos is the game workers cooperative that David and I are a part of, which is the first workers cooperative in gaming in Argentina. And he wrote this mostly talking about how mechanics sometimes tell awful things like this. Like there are a lot of awful games around, which sometimes they are not as obvious as this, but there are a lot of games that are extremely racist or discriminatory in some way. A very clear example, for example, is all of those games where you get to, you found a nice one, and now you are just cutting all the trees and making a huge city in this island there's creatures here. Okay, I'm going to just kill the creatures and eat them. And it's a very colonialist thing. And we have it so incorporated. Like, we don't really think about it, but it's actually kind of a shitty message to tell in games. And I think all games tell something, because all games are a medium of expression. And disclaimer, all games are art. Like, there are a lot of discussions. Yeah, there are a lot of discussions around this. And this is my stand, and I will die on that in this spot. Like, all games are art. Because they express something. Even the smallest games express something. And that alone makes them an art form. Even like a game like Sonic, you could say like, it's just like a Mario, whatever, it just jump around. But it's actually it has a very ecological message. Like, you start on a place that is full of green, and there is this bad guy that is building like big factories, and it's contaminating everything. And it's just like catching the creatures and putting them inside robots, and you have to free the creatures and get them to live free again. And it's a very strong message against contamination, against factories just ruining the ecosystem. And sometimes we probably played, like I played Sonic when I was a kid, and I did not think about all of this. And then I was like, wait, this is telling me something. And games can tell things through various mediums, of course, because they have a bunch of different art forms altogether that you can use in your way of expressing stuff that you want to. You have dialogue, you have cutscenes, you have environmental storytelling, you have music, you have papers and stuff that you found around, or like billboards or stuff written in the walls. You have the colors that you use. You have the images, everything. Like you have all of those things. But mostly what I want to talk today is that the things we do in a game can play meaning. Like not just how it looks or how it sounds, or it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to have dialogue. What you do and what is punished and what is rewarded in a game tells you stuff. For example, this is an Argentinian game called Shy. It's about this little character. I'm going to show you a bunch of examples, and the idea is that you can like see all the weird stuff that can be done in games. In Shy, this character is in love with another character and wants to like get close and talk to them, but all the time the keys are getting mixed. So you're moving right with the right arrow, and suddenly the guy is like, become shy, and oh no, and suddenly the right arrow makes you like, I don't know, colorblind, or makes you go the other way around. And you have to touch all the keyboard to find what is the key that makes me go forward. And all the time, the keyboard is changing. Gris is a Spanish game about a girl that overcomes depression. And here the colors are very important, but also, and everyone talks about how it looks. Oh, yes, Gris is a wonderful game. It's all watercolor made. It looks amazing. I don't care. What I care here is that the things you do tell you all the phases of overcoming having lost something or someone. So at first she becomes stronger, and she becomes like a rock, and she can overcome these strong winds that try to knock her down. And then she gets like a soaring power to also like go through things. She finds her voice at some point and uses her voice to change the environment. And those are like all the things that you go through when you are like into, I don't know if depression exactly, but if you're overcoming a bad moment, you go through all of that. And it's just the mechanics that tell you that story. This is a game that I love. Because, like I said, what you're rewarded for tells you a lot of things. So this is one of these games where you have to make a lot of things fast and then try to get something done in time. So you get up off the bed, you have to pick up your clothes and go to work. And you have to do it fast. And there's a lot of games like that. What's important here is that you do not earn points by how fast you do all your chores and go to work. You get points by how much time you spend in bed, just lying there, being lazy, just having time for yourself, and then going to work. So that's important. The game is not rewarding you for being, I'm going to work early. I am a productive person for society. No, you have to take your time and enjoy being just lying in bed. So that's the point. Just in changing that little reward system, you're telling a different story. Today I Die, it's also from Argentina. This is the same creator of Storyteller that you might know. It's also a game about depression, and it's a poem. You have to pick up the words and change all the adjectives of the poem. And at first, you only have like these awful adjectives. You can only change the dead world into dark world or painful world. It's like it's not getting a lot better. But if you change it and if you look around, like you can use this jellyfish. No, not dying is important. You can use the jellyfishes to light yourself, and then you have a different word. Then you have another adjective, which is, I think it's light or bright. So now you have a bright world, and now you can change You can change how you read your world. And by changing how you interpret your own world, your own vision of the world changes. So you can change the poem, and by changing the poem, you can change the world. And it's super beautiful. These are all games that are like 3-minute long, and they are all free. So you can go find them. Always Down is a game that I love so much by Stuff with Wombat from Vienna. You are the white rectangle, and it's a platform game. You have to go down a cave. Thing is, you start going down, and at some point you're like, did I always run this fast? I'm jumping a little bit higher now. What? And the change, and you do change how you move, but the changes are so subtle, so small, that you don't really realize until you're very deep in the cave and you start going like, oh, I am changing. My character is changing, but because I am a white rectangle, I cannot see it myself. But the way I interact with the world is changing. And it's very interesting because that's how change happens in life. Like you can only think about time with changes. And you can only just think about changes through time. This is a lot of philosophers have spoken about this better than me. But the thing is that you can only realize of changes in time if you compare yourself with your own version of a lot of time ago. Like I'm gonna be 33 tomorrow. I can compare myself with how I was in high school. Of course, I was a different person. But if I compare myself with who I was a week ago or even a year ago, it's like I don't really see the difference. You do not see the difference of how much you change on a daily basis. And even if you're learning something, if you're learning a skill, I'm learning how to play guitar, you do not see how better you are becoming each day. But it's important to realize, like, have like save states, and going like, oh, I could not play this song 3 months ago, but I can do it now. And making those sort of comparisons are super good. And this game is all about that. And it takes like 7 minutes to play, and it's super funny. So good. Florence, it's a mobile game. It's about relationships, and one of the strongest metaphor that it has is this about conversations and how conversations are like a puzzle that you have to get in your head. But they become easier the more you have confidence with the other person. So you're more confident, so you don't have to think so much what you're telling to them, and it becomes like easier and easier all the time. And there's one moment in this game where the game asks you to not do anything, which is also a mechanic that you can use. Like I don't know if I'm like getting ahead of myself, but you can tell stories by what you punish the players to do, what you are awarding them for doing, but also if you ask them to not do anything. Because all games are about interaction, are about like players doing stuff. That's what makes them games, and not any other form of art. You can ask someone to not intervene, and that is so powerful. Like in this game, there's this part where I'm not going to spoil it, but the character has to just let one situation happen, and you have to just watch it happen. You cannot get involved. And it's so strong, and you look at it, and it's so painful, and you touch the screen, and you want to do something, and the game just resets. It's like, no, and you look at it again, and you go like, no, we can't let this happen, like, and you touch it again. So that's the thing. Just asking a player to not do something, it's also a very strong thing, and it's a very strong feeling that you can use. You're building an experience, so you have to think about how the player will feel, and using that feeling to tell something and make them uncomfortable is something that you can use in your favor to tell stories. And also just, this doesn't make you uncomfortable, actually, all the way around, but it's also about not intervening. This is a story about a mother. There are not so many games about mothers in video games, even less as main characters. Here, you're mother of one of these people. I think it's that girl, that is your daughter. They are having an art jam at your home. She's studying in art in university or something, or high school. And she just gathered all of her friends to do to have like a nap, and like an arts party. You can be there. You can talk to everyone. You can prepare salad. You can give them snacks. You cannot be part of that because it's your daughter's party, right? Like you're not really allowed, And it's super strong. Like you have to be there and you have to take care of everyone, but kind of like from the shadow, right? And it's so wonderful. And the ending is so beautiful because I'm gonna spoil this one. Like you're always just telling actions like give them a snack, talk to this person, clean the mess, etc. And at some point you see your daughter playing music with her friends and just look at it from behind and go, and the action that appears on the screen is be proud. Oh my God. Like I started crying with this thing. And it's wonderful. It's like you cannot get into the action. So you don't have to be like, what is to be a main character, right? You don't have to be the hero all the time. You can just be a supporter. You can just be on the side. And it's also an interesting story to tell. This game I love it so much. And I could just speak 2 hours about this only game. Sense of the Sojourner is, it's a card game and it's also a visual novel. You have to talk to these people. You have to get, you live in a small town in the desert. You have to get items to sell in your store back in your small desert town. You have to go around the world, get the items, talk to people. Okay, I exchanged this for this. Cool. Thing is, you cannot talk back. People talk to you, but your only way of responding is by using these cards. And each symbol, it's like a cooperative domino. You have to match the other person's like symbols to get through the conversation. Each symbol represents like a way of being and a way of expressing yourself. There are a lot of things happening here because you are in your small town and people are like this and this. They only use circles and triangles because they are like, I don't know, calm and easygoing. But then you go to the city and people are like talking fast and are a lot more like expressive. So if you talk to them calmly, they don't understand you. You play with your circles and they play with this, I think they use like stars or something like that. They use another symbol. So you can't really match. So you have to learn their ways. And after each conversation, you can lose one card and change it for one of the cards of the other person. You exchange your manners with the other person. You can choose if you want to change and which cards you want to change. So suddenly it's like, okay, do I want to be able to communicate with these people? I mean, yeah, I want to. I want to be able to. I want to exchange stuff with the city people. But then I go back to my town and I have all the blue squares, and my friend from like my whole life is stuck in me with the orange circles, and I go like wow with the city manners, and they still have the town manners, and they don't really understand you because you change your way. You're now speaking with the slang of another place. And it's really interesting, like how much do you change? How much can you learn about different cultures, and how much that makes you like it reunites you with different people. It might make you get far away from other people. Also, the time you spend, like there's a time limit. So if you are going away and getting a lot of adventures around, you're gonna miss your childhood friend's first concert. You're gonna miss his birthday. And when you're back, it's like they will still love you, of course, but you weren't there when they needed you because you were having all of these adventures. But then if you stay at home, you don't get the adventure. So it's like all of these things where it's not, they are not telling you which is right or which is wrong, but they are putting you in these situations where you're thinking a lot about like your own life. I travel a lot and I go to this a lot. Like I have friends all over the world, but then I don't know, an old time friend just invited me to his birthday, and I'm like, I can't, man. I'm in Germany, so it's like a thing, right? Like that it actually happens, and it puts you in this situation, and you don't need fancy graphics. Snake Kitchens by p.m.Bardo. p.m.Bardo is a genius, and he made a lot of like philosophy concept into just the snake game. So this is capitalism, for example. It's like you have money and you go and you eat one apple, you eat another apple, and then you want to eat another apple, and it's like, no, you cannot afford it. You don't have more money. And like that, there's like a whole bunch of them. And it's so good because with such a simple mechanic, just changing a little bit the snake game, he can tell very complex subjects. This is one of mine. This is a text game. And it's all about, I have a group of friends that want to like leave their past behind and talk about difficult things. And this is one of the mechanics that I like, that it's about two friends that were a couple. And now they broke up, but they want to be friends. And they learn that it's not that you have to start a new relationship, it's that they become friends because they share all of this past together. Even if they are not romantic partners anymore, all of the things that they live together makes them loving themselves as friends. So you use the words of the, like when you touch it, the words of one text become another. So it's like I am using the same words of the prior story to tell a new thing. And there are a bunch of other characters that have different text mechanics. So there's one that it has that had a very bad relationship, kind of abusive relationship. So you touch the words and the words become harder every time you pinch them. So they are like, no, yeah, this was a good relationship. And you click it and it's like, and it wasn't that bad. Well, when he didn't get angry, it wasn't that bad. And it's like, it becomes even, she becomes more honest and talks about more complicated things the more you ask her to talk about it, and like the word changes. So this is just text, but the way you use text in video games like this can also like tell you stuff, like making it change shapes or whatever. And using these powers for good. This is some projects that I did. This is a weird thing. Cruel World is actually by Drocken, but I did from Canada. I did level design, I did illustrations and other stuff for the game. It was like a social experiment. It was a mingle game. That means that all players play on a single world, on a server, but they cannot see each other. But everything they do in the world, everyone can look at that thing because it's a single world that they are all touching. So the thing is that you could appropriate a save point or a door or whatever. You can say like, oh, I got to that point. It is a very difficult game. So I get to climb up to the save point, the card on the top. And I go like, okay, this is fine. This is my save point now. And you can just own it and you put your name on it. And it's funny because you want to put your name on it. It's like wanting to put a graffiti or a sticker on a wall. It's like you want to say, hey, I was here. And you want other players to come and see, this person was here. But then when the next person comes, they want to save the game. And the game goes like, no, you cannot save here because this save point is owned by this person. And you had to use your Twitter tag. So there was like actual people, owning the stuff, and you could say like, okay, I want to own this thing too. So it took you like a time to go through it. The thing is that the more people owned the save points, the harder it was for the rest of the players. And at some point they realized that this was actual people, and they started tagging themselves like to people that they did not know each other. They started tagging themselves on Twitter, going like, hey, at this name, whatever, you own the save point at the top of the mountain, you bastard. How did you do that? Why? You're so selfish. And people started realizing and going like, oh no, I owned all of my save points and now I am making the game harder for other people. I want to take it back. I want to clear my name off this place. It was such a cycle of people getting mad at each other and then realizing and like trying to ask for forgiveness. And they ask us like the programmers to go like, no, wait, I want to clear my name. Please put a mechanic that lets me take my name off the save points, so other people can use it. And I don't know, it was such a social experiment. But it was great. It was like a social experiment on selfishness and kindness, and like the way you go from one to another when you realize that you are affecting other people actually. And these are educational games that are kind of like a tangent, because these are not like personal or social games. But they use the same dynamic, because you're also like trying to tell something with what you do in a game. So it's interesting to try to think about educational games like this. Not just like, oh, I tell you this thing and then I put you a multiple choice question and you just answer. It's just a test. That's just a test with drawings. I think it's nice that you can experiment with stuff. This is one of the games that is all my concept. It was the water cycle. So it's like, okay, how do you make a game about the water cycle? Which is how we make a game about anything. Like, the idea is that you have to think about any experience that you have in life, and you have to be able to translate that into mechanics. So what is that this particular subject gives me that I can use to make a game about it? Water cycle is kind of easy because it's a system on itself. So it's like, okay, water becomes ice, becomes rain, becomes etc. So I had a bunch of concepts like, okay, I have an infinite runner, I have a dog that runs, a water dog. We were obsessed with water dogs for some reason. So I have a water dog, and the water dog just becomes a cloud and can like float, and then it rains, that goes back to the water and to the ground. Then another thing that we thought about was like, there's a limited amount of water in the world. So that's a resource. Suddenly we can make a resource management game. So we have a limited amount of water, and you have to move it from here to there, and we have to take care of it, because we cannot waste it. So we had a bunch of different kind of puzzles where you had to move the water from one side to the other. We played with temperature. We played with something more magical, like, okay, we have Pokemon-like creatures. We had, I don't know, yeah, Pokemon. I don't know, we had a bunch of stuff. Physical thing, because also it has physics. This is the kind of the way you have to think about it. Like, what is this subject giving me? Giving me that I can use to make a mechanic. So like water, like, right? We have the temperature thing, we have the limited resource thing, we have the physical thing. Like, okay, water is something, it's a fluid that you can move, and you can make a puzzle that is about taking the water from one place to the other, and maybe you could do it like with physics, and I don't know, you can feel water pools. I don't know. The thing that we end up using is this kind of dungeon crawler thing. This is the mock-up. It was like a water dog that was a temperature sorcerer. So you have to use the warm power to melt the ice, and you had to use the frozen power to make the water become ice and stuff like that. This is kind of how the game ended up looking. I did not make the art for this one. We also made, like, for example, the system of the this was pain. Systems of the body. Like, there's so many things to grab here. Like, what do we do? And we ended up talking about how the systems are like one inside of the other. So you have cells that get together and become clothes, and with that you get the organ, and you put a bunch of organs working together, and you have the system, and you put all of the systems together, and you have a body. So we were like, okay, this is what we are taking from all of this. This is a very large subject, so we're only taking this part. We ended up doing like a robot because it was weird. If it wasn't a robot, it would be super weird to make a body. So it was like, oh, it's all mechanical. And this is one that I really liked, and we didn't ended up doing it, which is thinking about like, how do I make a metaphor about this subject that I want to make a game about? So tectonic plates. Tectonic plates, you have the planet and you have like these different parts. It's built out of different parts of land. These lands are slowly moving, and sometimes they clash one to each other, and that's how you get mountains. And sometimes they rub against each other, and you have handshakes, earthquakes. Great, good. It's kind of boring if I do this realistically. Like, there aren't that many plates in the world that they have names because they are like at 10. I don't know. They're so little, so few. So it was, and they take years to move, and they take years to like thousands of years to make a mountain. This is not something that happens all the time. So if I make this really, it's great. Like the mechanics of the tectonic plates are great, but if I do this realistically, it's so boring. So I can just make a metaphor out of this and go like, okay, I have a map. I have a magical map. And if I move like the Iceland on the map, they move on the real world. Great. And I move them in the way they move in real life, the tectonic plates. So I go like, okay, I can slide them. I can make them push against each other. I can separate them. I can use all of those different tectonic movements of real life, but it's just a very fantastic world. And there are a bunch of different islands. And of course, that's not how it works in real life, but I don't care. Because I prefer kids to actually experiment with how the things move. And then I can go like, okay, in real life, it works like this. And I can explain them a little bit more. But they get to experiment, and they will get the metaphor. And these are two games that we did with Matajuegos, with the workers' cooperative, and they are about mental health. This is also an interesting topic. Like, we worked for Sportic, which is it's part of CES. It's part of everything comes from the Olympic Games. Olympic Games gives money to a bunch of associations that also give money to a bunch of different associations, and around the world they try to teach about good sportsmanship and good health and teamwork and mental health around sports. So they gave us this manual that was like this big. It was like 400 pages of exercises. And we did all of this. All of these slides are ideas for games. And they are divided into the different chapters of the book. And we were like, okay, we have this. Well, no, but we liked this. And we made a selection, and we took off like half of them. And then we look at them and we took up half of them. And then we look at it again and like that, until we only had like 3 or 4 ideas that we actually presented to the people. These were some of the ideas, for example. These are my drawings. The first one is how to behave in a conversation, in a group conversation, and how to manage your tone of voice and like your energy around other people. So it's like, if everyone is speaking very loudly in a party, you cannot go like that because they will not see you. But if everyone is talking very quietly and having a tea, you cannot come screaming because it's going to be bad. So you have to always like read the conversation and make everyone feel like comfortable around you. And it was about that. This was quick time events about reacting fast to a situation that stresses you. The other one was about creating a character based on experiences. So instead of doing an RPG character sheet where you decide like, okay, my character is going to be like this, and it's going to have this personality, etc. You had to first go into a lot of different situations. You had to react. And after that, you got your D&D character sheet going like, okay, your character is easygoing, your character is shy, your character is, etc. This also was more Pokemon-like, and you can see there is a pattern. And it was like, okay, emotions take shape of creatures, and you have to like collect all the emotions. These were the ones that we presented. A little guy inside your brain trying to get everything done and control stress. This was about emotions like car games, so you have to deal with different situations. And this one was about how to connect with other people by trying to be a little bit like them or make them be a little bit like you. So it was like, you talk to this person and they talk gibberish and they are sad, and you want to make them feel better because they are sad, but you cannot really understand them. But you see like, oh, this little monster has horns. So you could craft a bunch of different items and you could put a hat with horns on it. So now you were sharing this little thing with the other person, and you could understand then the other person, and then would go like, oh, I'm sad because I lost my ice cream. Like, oh, okay. And that was the idea. You could like put costumes on you to relate more and make other people feel more comfortable around you. And these were the prototypes that we did. And we ended up doing only 2 of the 3 prototypes, which was the little anxiety monster inside your brain, like trying to put the fire out of your brain. This was for little kids, so it had to be super metaphorical. So you went through the day of an early teenager, like, oh no, I have this football match, I am so nervous. So the brain was on fire, and you had to go to the chest and make them breathe. And once you make them breathe, then the fire went down, and it was like, okay, you calm them. Then you had to stretch the muscles and stuff like that. You had to go to the arms and like stretch the muscles, and it was all like super funny. And this is the other one with the emotions. This is extremely inspired on the Signs of the Sojourner game, where you cannot choose what you're saying, but you have to play the card game. This is like that. Like it was the main inspiration. You have 5 emotions throughout the day. You have to play them all because you have them inside. You cannot just repress them. At some point, they will have to get out. But you have to choose when you use each emotion. And no emotion is good or bad per se. They are depending on how you use them. So this is this anger. So this character comes and tells you they are super sad because whatever. And if you get angry at them, they will get like, no, I came and told you my feelings, and you get angry at me. Why are you treating me like that? And they will get sad. But then you want to play a football match, and you like one of the girls of the team wants to play, and the kids of the neighborhood go like, no, she cannot play because football is for men, and they want to take her out. And then you can use the anger card. I go like, no, fuck, she can play with us. And then the anger card is useful. And every character remembers what you did for them or didn't do for them. So she will remember if you defend her. And then you can change, like maybe that anger card changes the shape and stops being just anger and becomes, I don't know, leadership, or becomes I don't remember the word, like the wheel of defending your friend. So every after each day, some of your emotions would change shape and like evolve. Do you want to ask something? I am just going through it. Okay, I will take the silence now. The thing with all of this is that if you come from traditional games, you come from Sonic. And you come from, hey, I have a goal, and I have a winning and losing situation, and I have points, and I have limited lives and death, and like a lot of things that are like intrinsically part of video games.
And I was asked, how do you decide the interaction part of the game? Like, how do you come up with that, like the creative?
In general, or in one of the examples?
In general. And if you work with this side, like they were interacting with, like, how do you think about how you, like, you know, because I feel like in their souls are in a way that every scenario is kind of like not school. So yeah, I don't know. I never designed game. Like just it's no like I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I get it. What I do is I like when I was talking about the water cycle, it's like I try to think about the subject and like divide it into parts and think about my own experience. Because I am getting ahead of myself, but it's important to get like your own life experiences into games. So it's good to play other games that look alike. Like, oh, if I'm making a game about I don't know, taking care of plants. There are a lot of games about taking care of plants. I can play them and see how they did it. But also I can think about myself, like, how do I feel when I do this? And what are the parts of this experience that I do? Like if I water the plants, I have to remember all of them. I cannot forget, oh no, I had a plant on my balcony. I forgot the plant on my bedroom. So I have to remember all of them. I have to fill the water jar. I have to go in order. I have to not spill the water around. I don't know. I have to remember like some plants require more water and some plants require less. So it's like I have to water this plant every day, but the cacti is going to die if I water it every day. So I have to remember, when did I last water the cacti? And I don't know. It's like I think about all of those things, all of the part of the small different parts of any activity that I do. And I think about which of those are interesting, because some of them we're probably going to be super boring, but some might be fun. Like, I don't know, maybe, watering the plants and not spilling the water in a messy, with a messy jar, could be fun. It could be a fun activity. Maybe it has holes, so I have to take care of the hole. Or I have limited time. Oh no, I have to do this before I go to work. I only have like 10 minutes, so I have to do it very fast. I don't know. I try to think about that. And I try to always reflect on every activity. Like I think thinking like a game designer is to always reflect on how you feel about stuff and how you feel every time you're doing anything. So you go to a concert and you go like, okay, how do I feel like this when I'm doing this? And which parts do this have? Like I have to make the cue before, I have to stand in line, and maybe it's tiring, but I can talk to people. And then the concert, and how do I feel when I'm here? How do I feel while I am listening to music? How does the music feel? How does the light feel? I don't know. Maybe I am jumping, on a mosh pit. So what are the mechanics of the mosh pit? Like I have to take care that my cell phone is not falling. I have to take care that I am not punching anyone, but I also have to take care that that nobody is punching me by mistake. And, like getting the circle around, like you make a big circle and then you wait for the right moment. And when the right moment of the music comes, you start jumping. And that's a game mechanic.
But no, like stuff like, no, we think like they don't think like that. It's like one look at what I don't think like small.
I try to. I do have a thing that a teacher so long ago made me do in university, and I recommend you all to do it. It's an artist inspiration book. She was saying that artists tend to have two problems. One is the blank page. Like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I don't know what to draw. I don't know what to write about. I don't know. You get blank. And the other is the self-value. Like, oh no, I'm so bad. My art sucks. I draw terrible. My drawings get worse every time. And you hate yourself. And it's very common feeling. Extremely common feeling. No matter how good you are at what you do, you always get this every now and then. So how do you fight this? And she was like, okay, you grab a physical thing. She was saying that physical is better, but you can also make it digital if you prefer. You grab a notepad and you put everything that motivates you there. So you go to a concert and you put the ticket on it and you write something like, oh, this song was so great. Oh, the mosh pit was awesome. And you maybe write a little piece of one lyric that you like. You go to a movie and you make a drawing or you write your favorite dialogue and you put the ticket on. Whatever you do, you go to a trip and you put some of your pictures, and it doesn't have to be artsy. It can just be a picture with your friends because that's also a thing that motivates you. That's something that makes you happy. And so maybe you can later make a game about those friends and make a game about how you went together hiking. I made a game about how we had drank too much with a friend and then we had a hangover and then my friend had to take care of me because I was feeling sick. And I made a game about like my friend just grabbing a blanket, bringing me water. And that's also a thing. So then that way you register everything that you think it's interesting, that you think it's inspirational, and you have it all on your book. So every now you feel like on a blank page and you feel like you don't like your art or whatever, you can just go there and go like, oh yeah, the mosh pit, oh yeah, that hiking we did. And you can get like, I don't know, inspiration from there. And you get this process going of like getting, this is interesting, this part was great. I don't know.
And I would try. It's almost like really hard you can almost get that.
Yeah. It's nice. But every different people might do it differently. This is something that my teacher taught us to do. And I just kept on doing it for ages. I've been doing this for like 10 years already. I have like many books already of like pictures and stuff and leaves to stick on it and stuff like that. So, this is a question. Especially if you study design, I teach game design, and I always start teaching like the good game design, and then I go like, okay, just break the rules. I don't care. So does my game need to be fun and engaging and long and have a lot of content? Like, no, really, no. You can do whatever. If you can interact with it, that's a game. You don't need more than that. I did this game, for example. It's called Distant Memories, and it comes out of this. I went to art gallery, cultural center, whatever, in Rosario, in my city in Argentina. And they had all of these games where you could make poems out of putting random words and random phrases one next to each other. It's a very Dadaist thing. It's very from the surrealism movement, in the late century. And I thought it was super interesting. And I was like, I want to make a game about this. So I did this. This is 100 verses divided into 4 different columns, and they get mixed together. They are written in a way that they will always combine in a way that it makes sense. The grammar is also made both in Spanish and English. It's also written in a way that it always will make sense. That's why they are divided into blocks. And I have a system that brings me 1 verse from each column, and with that I create a poem. This is how I do games. I just write all the things in Spanglish. And I go like, okay, I have this title. This is gonna move like this, and this is kind of the menu. And I did all of these creatures because I wanted something also graphical because I'm an 2D artist, so I want to draw things. I want them to look pretty. So I made a bunch of different creatures. I called my friend from Korea to talk me about like creatures from Korea, and I also looked for other creatures. I put them names of different food of the world. I was called by Indie Apocalypse, which is a magazine from the USA, which is super good, and you should check it out. Andrew every month picks 9 games out of the internet that he likes, and then commissions 1 game and pays 1 artist to make a specific game for that specific issue of the magazine. And he paid me to make this one. I also made a little poster that was on the physical thing. This was the poster, like, warning millennial physical queries and mild melancholy. And this is the thing. I was like, okay, what I have to do? This is what I do. I make a list and I go like everything I have to do. I have to translate the poems. I have to draw the drawings. I have to blah 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 blah. And one of the things was, this should be fun. How do I make this fun? Like, this should be a game. I should have a win and lose condition, right? Because it's a game. And I should have a more gamified, okay, I have these different dragons that I can unlock. Cool. this should be gamified some way. So maybe I can have a certain amount of items, or maybe the items have to be of the same color. So I have a pattern recognition, or maybe I have to dodge stuff. So if I dodge this I don't know, weapons, oh my God. And I was like, you know what? Fuck gaming. No, my game is fun out of it on itself. I don't need gamification. I don't need points. I don't need pattern recognition. I don't need a win and lose condition. I don't need any of that. It can just be fun to go around and catch poems and read poetry, because people read poetry and don't need a win and lose condition to grab a book and read poetry, right? So, and it's fun, but it's fun. So why can't I just make this game and be like that? And I just did it. But it was a whole process, and it's like, I say this to my students, but I am not saying it to myself. And it took me a long time to just go like, no, I don't need to win and lose condition. So this is where you come in. Like, I never made a game, or I'm making my first game, and I don't know if I have something interesting to say, or I am not getting hired by a company that wants me to make a game about mental health. Like, I don't have a cool idea. What can I do? Just talk about what you know. Talk about your daily life. It's gonna be interesting. Even if you think, no, but my life is so boring. No, it's not. It's definitely not. And I'm sure, like, your daily routine and the things you do and the things you lived in your childhood and the places you visit are like super interesting. Something that I did not put on the slides, but sometimes you feel like this has a name, something like the knowledge karma. It's like the knowledge problem. You think that everyone knows what you know. So you think, oh, this is so boring because I go through these streets every day. I do this every day. So it's so boring. Everyone knows how it is to do this. It's not like that. When I come here, I get to Europe. I get lost all the time because streets are bananas. Like, what? I don't understand European streets. They are such a mess. And for me, streets are a perfect grid of, rectangles, and everything is perfect, and everything has numbers, and everything is measured. In Argentina, cities are designed, so they are organized. And here I have diagonals, and my brain just explodes. I don't know how to deal with diagonals in streets. And my friend from Vienna, Stuffed Wombat from the game before, he came to Argentina with me. We were traveling across the country. And the other day in a maze, he was telling other people about his trip to Argentina. He was like, no, you have no idea. The streets there are a grid. It's so awesome. What the fuck? It was so messy. And I'm like, how do they live with streets like a grid? And he was like, and everyone was like, wow, really? And it's such a natural thing for me. Of course, streets are agreed, but you don't really realize of the things that you are that you did that of your common life. You don't know what is common for you can be super exotic for other person. Like the music, the drinks. I'm having this thing that I have never had in my life, and probably many of you will go like, oh, sure. Beer, of course. I don't know, Radler. Everyone drinks Radler here, and for me, it's like, oh yes, I'm in Europe. I'm gonna drink Radler because it's so weird. So yeah, just anything you want to talk about your life, it's definitely gonna be interesting for other people. Some examples. Increpare is a weird guy that I don't know if it is from Germany. I think so. He made a lot of games. This game is about eating cookies in bed. And that's it. And you get your and this is the thing, right? Like eating cookies in bed. What are the parts of this? First, you have to you're lying down and you have to grab the cookies, and it's kind of hard. So you have to grab the cookies and make it fit in your mouth, and it's kind of hard when you're lying down. So that's the first game. And then everything gets filled with like little pieces, of the crumbles. So, oh no, my bed is filled with crumbles and I have to sleep now and it's so uncomfortable. So you have to pick them up and you have a little mini game of like trying to catch all the crumbles on bed. It's amazing. This is mine. This is about my daily routine when I get up. It's called Mornings Are Hard, but I never wake up before noon. So it's kind of like a lie. But it's about how I'm always sleepy when I get up. So everything is kind of like, I don't know, I put the water on and I forget it and I have to go back and did I drink my coffee? So kind of inspiring in the Shy game about the keyword of getting mixed. This is the same. It's like, in each game, what you have to do. You have to brush your teeth. You have to pick your t-shirt. Cool. But how? You don't know what the keys are. So you have to smash all the keyboard until you find like, okay, this one. With this, I move the hand up, and with this one, I move the hand down. So, and in each mini game, you have to do that. This is also mine. This was for my friend's stuffed wombat. It was about how it's nice to. It was for him, but it could be for any of my online friends. It's about how when you have to do a lot of things in your life, you have to go through a lot of course. But doing that while texting someone, it's a lot nicer. So I don't know, it's a little nicer when I have to just, I don't know, pick up my clothes and or doing whatever I have to do during the day. If I'm sending memes with my friend from all across the planet or with wherever. So talking with my friends, it makes everything nicer. So the idea is that you have to do all of these courses that are calling your attention and the day becomes like very great. Until the other character, this is a 2-player game. The other character, when they see that you're becoming great, they have to go to the laptop or the phone and send you like an emoji or something. So they send you an emoji and now you're full colored again. And you have to take care of each other and send each other emojis and get all the work done. These are both from Cécile Richard. She's from everywhere. She's from France and Japan, and I think she's now living on Australia. She makes these Bitsy games. She has a bunch of them. These two are about online relationships and online friends, and she does this thing. I'm like, I see this and I recognize the very old Facebook UI. And I go like, oh my God, my first university year is this image. And the other one, I think it's, I don't know if that's Tumblr, I don't know, but you see this and you go like, oh, I recognize this. And I don't know, it's a very, it's like a boring part of life, but also it's such an intimate thing, like going through your social media, seeing your friends, getting to know them and talking to them. And she made these games about that and it's super good. Vicky Casey is an amazing designer. I love them. And Adventures with Anxiety, it's about anxiety and your anxiety takes the shape of this little red creature and it wants to protect you, but it wants to protect you from everything. So you have to like tame it in a way and like live with that, and it's super good. And this is a thing that I wanted to say as well. There's this theory by oh my God, this person. Oh my God, it will come to me. The theory is North Focus Power. He wrote it in Spanish, which is Norte Foco Poder, which is you make a game and first of all, you think about your North Star. Like what is your goal? What you want to transmit? What you want other people to feel when they are playing? So you go like, okay, I'm going to make a horror game. So I want them to be stressed and I want them to be like have fear. Or I want a comedy game. I want a game that makes them reflect. I want a game that makes them, have a good coordination, hand-eye coordination, and it's a music rhythm game. You said that. That is your goal. Everything has to point in that direction. So every time you have like a doubt, and it's like, oh, should I do this like this? Should I put this power? Should I put this mechanic? Should I program this in this way? Everything has to look in that direction. So if you're making a horror game, you should put some time pressure, for example, and you should put graphics that are like dark and creepy, and you should put sounds that make you feel uncomfortable. If you say, "Oh, this classical music is great," yeah, but it doesn't fit the horror game. So everything goes in that direction, and you focus all of your attention in that. So everything points there. And what he says, Adrian Noel, oh my God, Adrian Noel is an Argentinian designer, and he's working in FIFA now in Canada. His idea of power is you grab one detail of the same and you go all in with that. So Pokemon is about traveling, it's about like nature and collecting creatures and making them fight. Cool, you could make that with 20 creatures and it would be fun. But no, they made 100, and they made 500, they made 1,000. So that's the power. That's like, this is the little detail that we're gonna go all in. And I don't know, you have funny dialogue, so you have a bunch of different characters, and they are all super funny, and they have many dialogue lines, so you can go and talk to them again and again, and they will say different things, and they will be so funny. That's the thing. What I say here is power is not only just going full force and exaggerating one feature, it's also closing down and making everything about a single thing. So it's like, I want to make a game about making schnitzels, milanesas with my family. So I'm gonna make a cooking game, and I'm gonna put this, and I have the fries, the French fries mini game, and I have the salad mini game, and I have and everything. And no. Power is also just going like, I just care about the schnitzels, so I'm just gonna make the game about the milanesas, and that's it. I don't need a full game. I don't need hours of content. This is what I want to say, so I'm just gonna say this. And that is also power. That is also knowing how to put all of your attention in one thing. Lieve Oma by Florian Beltman, I think from the Netherlands. It's about walking with your grandma and telling stories. And it's like a walking simulator. It has, I think it has a little bit of branching dialogue. And that's it. It's not a full adventure. It doesn't have any more characters. It's just a talk with your grandma on the forest. That's it. And it's beautiful. Away by Trocken, it's a very metaphorical thing where you have to go down that cave. And when you reach the bottom, there's a little switch. And when you pull the switch on, music starts playing and everything becomes black, pitch black. But what happens? When you go down the cave, you get all of these little texts that go like, you hear whistling gusts from below. You feel the grass under your feet. You feel the stone is very cold. And you get all of these texts that describe what you're feeling. So after the screen becomes pitch dark, you still get the text. So you cannot see yourself, and you play and you hear like boing, boing, and you feel the steps, but you cannot see anything, but you get the text like, oh, there's cold rock beneath my feet. Okay, I'm here. I am this part. And then you go like, oh, I feel the grass. Okay, I'm in this part. And only by the text and the memory of the place, I took a picture to play it. I cheated. You can actually go on top and fall asleep again. And he made this because he was like, he was telling me, I like the moment when you wake up during the night and you have to go pee and you don't want to turn the light on because your partner is sleeping or wherever is sleeping. So you have to go by memory. You know you're home, you live there, but you have to go in the dark, and just feeling like, okay, this is this wall and this is carpet. Oh no, now I'm touching the wood floor. So now I'm in this other room, and you have to just feel the things and go by memory to your home. And he made a game about that, but he just made it in a cave. So it's like also like, okay, I'm grabbing this part of the experience, but I'm making a metaphor. I'm taking it elsewhere. this is also why in Kooperative, this game made me cry. It's, he says, they say, the character is like, there are no stars in the city I live because of pollution. So I bought a bag of glow-in-the-dark stars to put them on the ceiling so we can look at them together if he ever comes back. You don't know anything about them. And it's a small mini game about putting the stars on the ceiling, and then there's a little bit of extra story of when they do come back and how they look at the stars together. And it's so nice. And it's just putting the stars. It doesn't have a win condition. It's just a small interaction, but it tells you a story. And it's a lot more stronger because you put the stars on it. It could be just a poem telling you the story, and it would be okay. But the fact that you are doing it makes you part of the thing. So, finishing. Everything, absolutely everything in life can be translated into game mechanics. And like I said before, it's important to bring into video games experiences from outside them, because if you're always copying games that you like, it becomes endogamic. Or you're always repeating patterns. You're always repeating the same mechanics. So it's really nice that if you like anything, like when I start teaching, I always ask my students, what's their favorite game, to have an idea? And also, what's their favorite thing in life that doesn't involve gaming at all? And they tell me all sorts of things, like they do streaming, they play the bass, they do cooking, they read books, they like to go to the cinema, they have a lot of cats and dogs. And there are a lot of things that they do in life. So it's like, bring that thing that you're passionate about. It doesn't have anything to do with video games. And make a video game about it, like put that feeling, that passion that you have into games. And all games are valid. It's not like, it doesn't have to be fun. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be anything. Like if you can click on it and do some sort of interaction, that's it. So my idea here is like to encourage you to make games, any kind of game, about the things that you care about. Because if you care about that, someone else will care about that too. You will make learning is an act of caring. Like when you learn about something, you start caring about that thing, and when you care about something, you want to learn more about that thing. It's a cycle. So if you just do games about the stuff you care, you will make other people care about that thing. You will make other people learn about the things that you care about. And you can use your games to tell your own story. You don't have to tell something that you think other people will find interesting. Just tell your own thing. And that's it.